I think they start tomorrow. But here's a tweet from Dick Weiss. We've had him on before, covers college basketball. Notre Dame wants $75 million annually in new media rights contract from longtime broadcast partner NBC. The existing deal was about $22 million per year. That's expiring in 2025. And then this question, and then I'll give you a follow-up tweet. When was the last time the Irish won a title? Well, I know that. It was in 1988 with Lou Holtz and I think Tony Rice at quarterback. So here's Jim Williams, our buddy, who also put this up right after that. Are they still relevant? The last time they won a national championship, there it is, Lou Holtz, 1988. Do they deserve the break they get in the college football playoff? Not even discussing the $75 million per year.
All right, so relevance in this negotiation is not really the important question. It's, do they have the numbers ratings-wise to justify it? That's what would justify a raise of that much. Whether they've won a title or not since 1988, that's only matters to people like us who are gauging your success of your program. And Notre Dame, for the most part, is pretty consistently good, although they've had their down periods, but they're good, not great every year. It's been a while. They've been in the college football playoff since it's been, in the 4 teams. So they've been up in the discussion. They're there. It's just that's not what's important to Notre Dame or NBC when discussing this, because the point is, what numbers do they get when they play? And if those are still pretty good, I couldn't tell you what they are. But if their ratings are still very good and competitive with the Big Ten, the SEC, and the other ones, yeah, they're going to ask for more money. That's all that it means to the NBC is ratings. Whether they won a title or not doesn't really come into this.
Yeah, I mean, the title doesn't really matter to the brand all that much. I mean, it can still be attractive and not have won a title in a long time. Hence, here we are. I mean, they've clearly still been plenty attractive to NBC, and others have talked about courting them or talked incessantly about what a coup it would be to bring them into the Big Ten, for example, or even the SEC and the Notre Dame brand. Like, imagine what that could do, even though that makes really no sense at all. Just culturally, if we want to always talk culturally, then that doesn't seem to really be a fit. So, I mean, I know Dick Weiss has been around a long time, so that's just not some jabroni throwing, something at the wall. It's also not super well vetted into, so I'm curious to see what kind of follow-up there is to that. Not to dismiss the report, just saying, I'm curious now if, he's thrown that out there of what else we may hear in the next few days from others going, really? Okay, let's dig around into that a little bit, and, maybe there's a little bit more to that. But, I mean, this last round of realignment, one of the major talking points for some was, the Big Ten expansion side of things with Kevin Warren before we realized that he was just, going to shake things up and leave out the side door for, a return to the NFL. One of those things talked about was, the super conference and where would Notre Dame fit into that. And, the logical place for them is in the Big Ten if you were going to narrow it down to 2, but obviously they have prior to that and currently those ACC ties. So the ACC being locked down in that TV contract, maybe that's a way to open that bad boy back up, would be to bring Notre Dame fully on in. But I don't know how, having said all of that, how you're getting all that $50 million extra dollars per year that they're apparently wanting, because that's the hang up to me. It's not so much the conference affiliation, because it seems like plenty would be willing to open their arms up, but how you welcome them in and then also make sure they're getting $75 million a year when they're making, a little over 20 apparently. That's the bridge that's hard to manage, I think, on the surface.
I think that you say 75 knowing that you'll get between 50 and 60.
Oh, damn.
Probably, yeah. So
how can you pay the bills with that?
And this will go into, so there's going to be a lot of this in the chat, and there's going to be a lot of this when you talk about this, if this story, when they sign their new media deal and get what will be a massive raise. Because if NBC says no, and this is where the Pac-12 would be. Look, Notre Dame would jump the line of the Pac-12.
Oh, yeah.
They would jump the line of the Pac-12. So if NBC said no to the Pac-12, if they said, or to Notre Dame, if NBC said, you're crazy, we're done with this relationship, which they won't. But if they did, Notre Dame could go to someone and say, okay, for these 7 games a year that you're going to get, we would like, we got told no at 75, so we know that's a non-starter. We would like 60. Somebody would be like, okay, yes, we'll take it, because they know they're going to get those ratings. And Notre Dame, they know that this is a negotiation. This is how it starts. But so say they get that. The reason that they don't have to join a conference is because they can walk in the room and ask for 75 and not get laughed out of the room.
Yeah, I think there was a time back when UT, the late 2000s, when they were in an incredible role. Their athletic department right now is winning a bunch. They win the Director's Cup from Learfield and all that. But there was a time when they probably could have been independent. But I even think a place like that is tough. I think Stanford, because of what they have with their endowment, and I know others have big endowments too, I think Stanford could give that a shot. Look, Notre Dame hasn't won since 1988. Now, they've been close. What, out of those, since that time, how many times have they been at least somewhat close? Would you say 5 times? And when I say close, you don't have to make the playoff, but pretty good. Maybe 5 times, and I'm guessing there. But they're going to get what they want. NBC wants to keep them, and it's just a different part of a media deal. Instead of it's the Pac-12, which, who knows how long that will drag out. It's Notre Dame football. And Jim Williams made a great point, who's been on with us, and so has Dick Weiss. 1988. Now, let's think of some blue blood programs. Abram Smith, by the way, from the D.C. Defenders and the XFL in the championship game now, will join us today, former Beta running back at 340. So let's think of some blue bloods. Florida State's last title, they won in 2013. That's not that long ago. Nebraska, 97. Notre Dame, 88. Michigan, 97. USC, 04. Texas was 05. Oklahoma was 01.
It's 2000.
2001. 2000. I'm sorry, 2000. Miami was the dominant all-time greatest team in perhaps 2001. So I'm just throwing it out there. So if they had one of the longest droughts among all of them, and there has also been some ups and downs in their program. And Brian Kelly had him trending up. I know that when he left, there were some Notre Dame fans said, good, okay, good. And now he's at LSU doing what he's doing there. And now Marcus Freeman is on the clock at Notre Dame.
Right, that's all well and good, but what do you mean they're going to get what they want? I mean, I don't think they're going to get $75 million a year.
I think that's like Paul said, when you go into negotiation or you even in a lawsuit, you say, okay, here's what I want, here's what, and you end up here. No one wants to go to court, right? And in this case, you don't want to have, I think they're going to get probably $45 to $55 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Like, this is just a random shot in the Twitter universe by Dick Weiss. Again, we don't know where this came from. This is just
CBS Sports.
That's where he initially got it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see the CBS Sports. So that's their wants, sure. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a genius negotiating tactic to ask for a bunch and then ultimately get what you want. So, yeah, maybe that's the direction that we're headed. But as we know, NBC's already in the college football game outside of Notre Dame now as well. So how much of an appetite is there when it comes to, their money and what they want to spend potentially on Notre Dame or whoever else might want to spend money on Notre Dame football? Like, I'm not denying that the brand isn't still, one of the top and most recognizable brands, but I do sense, at least out there in some parts of the world, it's not what it once was, no matter if they're averaging 4 million viewers a week or not. Now, look, that's very healthy, and that will get them a major deal, but I don't think it's just it's Notre Dame bow down time of this world anymore. And so, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, they're certainly one of those teams that could shake the whole table up if they decided to make a move one way or the other, because that would have effects that would, you'd feel all over the place, I would imagine, if they decided to break away from being independent and go join the Big Ten, let's say. So, yeah, that would be a fascinating story if they go that direction. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do end up getting.
All right, a couple of chats.